What I'm about to say may sound insensitive, but this is the truth. Parliament is 2 kilometers from State House. For the first time since 1962, Parliament was overrun. What happened? How did we get here? Who knew what? We have swept too much under the carpet. It's now time to lift that carpet and be truthful in the way in which we deal with the country. Whether we start with Musando, we come to Juma, we come to Kenei, we come to River Yala and everything else. Let these things be investigated by an open public inquest.
Ever since the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, Fred Matiang'i, made his 2027 presidential ambitions public, the political heat in the country has escalated to an extent that William Ruto and his camp has not been able to hold back. They have consistently dragged Matiang'i's name into the murky water of River Yala killings.
Wakaambua kazi yenu badala ya kuchukua watoto wa watu kama unamshuku na kumpeleka kotini, walikuwa wanapiga risasi wanatupa kwa mto Yala. Rais William Ruto wakati alifika ametupilia mbali kikosi hicho, sababu yeye ni mtu anaamini Mungu na anajua maisha iko na thamani.
Trying to tie his name to the extrajudicial killings that happened during the Ruto era. For those of you who have forgotten what happened during the Yala killings, bodies with signs of torture were found in River Yala.
Between July 2021 and January 2022, police reports show that tens of Kenyans were abducted, tortured and murdered, with their decomposing bodies later discovered in different parts of the country. No words could explain the monstrous killings.
The body had some visible tortures.
Wameuawa kifo ya unyama vibaya sana.
That 5-year-old Peter Mutuku and that 6-year-old Philemon Chepkonyi were victims of the killings.
Alikuwa ametoa ulimi like this.
Hatukuwa tukiexpect tunapata bradhangu kwa moka.
Their remains were among 36 bodies retrieved from River Yala.
It looks like they were eliminated somewhere out of the county.
Body inawekwa kwa gunia, inashonwa mzuri.
Some of them are maroon, having their eyes closed.
The families have since buried their kin, and no one seems to be giving Kenyans an answer on the underworld dealing behind the unfortunate killings.
I do miss him every day. Ni bado inatuumizanga sana. Ni uchungu.
To Haji to come out clearly and tell Kenya why they are killing people in Nairobi and dropping people in River Yala.
It is estimated that over 60 bodies were dumped there. Residents at a time reported that pickups and probox could bring people at night and dump them there, others in sacks. That's how bad the situation was during that time. But now, ladies and gentlemen, in what seems to be a political retaliatory explosion, Fred Matiang'i has fired back to William Ruto, vowing to expose what he called the faces behind some of Kenya's most controversial extrajudicial assassinations.
When you wake up in the morning, when you saw the things you saw yesterday, how can you assume that we don't have a problem in the country? Tuko na shida. And the sooner we all accepted that we have a problem, the better. Tuko na shida, let us find solution to this. You know, going around and assuming that everything is fine and dandy, and then now we spend time, managing government by blogging. It cannot work like that. We cannot have government by blogging. Let's focus on the issues that we need to deal with. Let us address the lives of our people, and this issue should be investigated. We have swept too much under the carpet. It's now time to lift that carpet and be truthful in the way in which we deal with the country. Whether we start with Musando, we come to Juma, we come to Kenei, we come to River Yala and everything else. Let these things be investigated by an open public inquest.
Like those ones of Sergeant Kibuyekon Kenei, an AP police officer who was attached to the office of the then Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, and also the murder of Chris Musando, an IEBC official, and in this case, the director of ICT, the person who held the voters register and the fingerprints to the register machines. He also vowed to expose the faces behind the killings of a businessman from Bungoma, Juma. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move too deep into explaining why this move by Fred Matiang'i could be too dangerous politically for William Samoei Ruto, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Take a moment, hit the subscription button, smash the notification bell, and press the like button on this video. By doing like that, ladies and gentlemen, you help me to reach a wider audience. And for those who have already subscribed to the channel, I say thank you. For without you guys, this channel could not be where it is at the moment. Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei was a disciplined administration police officer and the head of security personnel at William Samoei Ruto's office, then the vice president at Harambee House Annex. He was found murdered in his home, in his own house, in Imara Daima in Nairobi. His death initially was investigated as a suicide case, but later on, the then DCI George Kinoti found out that it was a brutal murder.
We have endeavored to give some illustrations of how the body was found and the possible way we could have expected in the event this was suicide. Was the scene, the way it was found, consistent with the allegation that he committed suicide?
Ladies and gentlemen, before his murder, just a day before the day he was killed, Sergeant Kenei was supposed to appear before the DCI to record a statement on the appearance of the then CS4 Sports Rashid Echesa, who was implicated in a 40 billion arms scandal that also involved the office of the Deputy President then, William Samoei Ruto. Kenei was to record a statement a day before he was killed. It was assumed that Kenei knew a lot in this case and his elimination was to be permanent. And then comes now the case of Jacob Juma, a vocal businessman and a very fierce government critic who had on several occasions through his social media post made it clear that William Ruto was about to eliminate him. On May 6th, 2016, his bullet-riddled body was found lying in a pool of blood along Ngong Road.
Mei tarehe 5 katika barabara ya Lenana saa 3:30 za usiku. Milio ya risasi yasikika kwa mujibu wa baadhi ya watu waliokuwepo. Dakika chache baadaye, gari aina ya Mercedes Benz nambari ya usajili KAL 007W lapatikana pembeni mwa barabara. Ndani ya gari mwili wa mfanyabiashara mashuhuri Jacob Juma Lukoba mwenye umri wa miaka 45 ukiwa na alama 7 za risasi.
He died at a time when he was exposing serious corruption scandals and political betrayals within the government. His relatives and the opposition at that time blamed senior government officials for the death of Jacob Juma, and Ruto's name surfaced in this matter. Finally comes the death of Chris Musando, the man who was entrusted with Kenya's role IT infrastructure. He was found murdered days before the 2027 general election. His killing raised a lot of red flags on election rigging and the chilling elimination of electoral election truth bearers.
The murder of Chris Musando, who was IBC's IT director, is a cold-hearted crime that goes very high up. IBC and Jubilee are partners in this murder.
Fred Matiang'i, who was the Interior Cabinet Secretary during that time, and with access to security and intelligence classified files, is now threatening to spill the beans and bring the truth to light. If there is any killings, any information that was hidden about these killings, then Matiang'i is about to spill the beans. But what does this really mean for William Ruto politically? Number one, to William Ruto, this portrays him as a man with Kenyans' blood on his hand and unfit to hold the office of the president. On the other hand, to Matiang'i, this depicts him as a whistleblower and not a victim, as the William Ruto Samoei camp is trying to portray him. In your own opinion, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section below, let me see what is your thoughts on this move by Fred Matiang'i to spill the beans and reveal the real faces behind the most controversial extrajudicial killings in Kenya during the Ruto regime time. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. And if you have watched this video to this end, kindly subscribe if you are yet to do so, like this conversation, and also press that subscription button to help this channel reach a wider audience. And thank you for those who have already done that. Until next time, this is Siasa 254.